We go, hey, YouTube, say hi to Twitch, and Twitch, say hi to YouTube. Y'all know how we do. Look, it's recap number 2. If you watch recap number 1, shout out to you in the comments and everybody that said thanks for that, because a lot of people didn't even get a chance to catch the games at work or with family or whatever. You didn't get a chance to catch the game, so we definitely recapping it here on the Tubester one time. Of course, this is the candidates round 2, so perfect. So we definitely gonna start with Hikaru. Shout out to the big fella. Sheesh, that man called him a dubster. If you didn't know already, it's all over the internet. Of course, if you didn't and you missed it, then the man got a dub. He won. So we're checking that out, right? So e4, e5. He played with job off this round, much needed. Definitely bounce back. So let's go. I see you, Quantum. That's right. All right. So knight c6, bishop b5, knight f6. All right, d3, and then right here, bro. Right here, honestly, I've never seen this before. I'm not gonna lie, I've seen a lot of these before. Like these, of course, I've played the Roy for a long time, and d3. But this man hitting with knight, like knight d2, knight d2, bro. Like a early one. I'm like, bro, I mean, okay, this is like, it's kind of strange. Like, it's just early. It's the same move that you would play, but it's different move order, which changes everything. Usually you play like c3, you play everything else. 92 is not, I mean, not that it's not played, but it's very rare, and very rare, as you see a lot of that because the candidates prep, totally understandable. You want to play some different stuff, rarities and etc. So 92 makes sense, very rare move. Knight d4, hit him back with something that's like, oh, I ain't seen that. No, we knew he was getting a fight. Knight takes, he took back with the bishop, that's obvious. Pawn takes is absolute garbo. Garbage. Don't do that. So c3, right? He plays c3 to kick the bishop. Bishop goes back, hitting f2, right? So d4, that is a move. That is a move. I actually didn't even remember that he played this. I kind of was flying through the moves in the beginning, but d4. So if I take this, is it just e5? What's the intention? Did he take it? Yeah, he was like, nah, I don't want none of that, bro. So take. So I ain't never seen this. e5, I mean, a pawn. Like, I'm giving up a pawn, bro. So I'm assuming, well, let's calculate. Pawn takes, why are we giving up this pawn? e5? Is it e5? Queen e7, I can castle. I think we just get initiative. Yeah, it is. Where does the knight go? It's kind of ugly. Knight d5. There's some initiative here. Takes, the bishop takes, queen g4, I think. No, but there's bishop takes e5. Interesting. So this is where now we use a little bit of engine help, of course, as we looked at before in the previous recap. If you didn't know, this is how I like to actually recap or look at games when I'm analyzing them by myself. I always like to click vote up here. I don't want to see the analysis or the engine. I want to look at this by myself and try to figure it out, right? Because we like to calculate COE, right? I always plug the merch, of course. Shop Canty merch, make sure you're there. Easy one. COE, get back to it, right? So d4, I need to see what's up. Thanks for the 9 months. What up? Desert Lightning, appreciate it. After pawn takes, what is the move? After I've looked at this, I need to see what's wrong. So it is e5, and then knight d5, that's principal, and then you play castle. You just give it up. Interesting. And I'm sure he's prepped this, right? He had to prep what happens after captures, obviously. So we didn't see that, but it would have been nice to see that, in fact, just to see, you know, what that prep looked like. Because this is definitely giving up a pawn, and the engine says that it's a pawn, like, but he has compensation, white. So he didn't go for none of that. It looks like c6. So he took on e5. He wasn't gonna give him another chance to do that, and this one makes it complicated. Yes, we give with the bishop pair, but we have double pawns, and then pawn takes, queen takes. Okay, you got 2 pieces out, but again, you got double pawns, right? You got double pawns. I can castle, and I have 1 pawn in the center. You kind of have 1 too, but level, as you see, engine says is equal. It's just level. Castles, castles, queen h5. I thought this was nice. Eyeing b5, queen c6. Very nice move, right? Defending. And then what happened after that? They go rook e1. I don't remember what he did. Knight b3. But let's see what are possible candidate moves. Well, this is hanging the pawn, but it's not. Maybe knight b3. Knight f3, actually, is a nice move too. What did he play? He played rook e1 to defend. Oh, I remember this, actually. And then he went knight f3. And I was like, bro. Like, bruh. Yo, he sacked the pawn another time. Like, Hikaru, I mean, we already know how strong he is, but sometimes we forget how strong he really is. I mean, just gave up another pawn here. Like, whoa. Yo, he's just giving us up. And there's back rank problems with both players, white and black here. And I think I remember looking at this, and I was like, what happens if he take, like, there's no, like, Like, you see the engine going up, right? But what's the move, right? What is the move? Knight G5, come on now. Like, come on now. That's garbage. Like, get out of here. You can't do that. Like, come on. It's not going to work. Knight G5 is rook E1. And if rook takes then Knight G5 is queen E1, right? And I actually, for me, I don't even remember. I looked at this earlier and I still don't remember right now. Maybe it's rook takes and queen F7. Oh my goodness. Wait, but no, that's not getting a pawn. Why would I do that? Why would I do that? Bishop E3 maybe? Bishop F4, Bishop G5. Don't remember. What's the engine say? Let's see. Okay. So rook takes E4. Oh, that's what it was, bro. It was Bishop D2. I cannot believe it was Bishop D2, bro. It really blew my mind. I'm sitting here like, oh, what is it? Wow, like, it's got to be something. And the engine like, no, just Bishop D2, bro. That's it. Just Bishop D2. Bishop D2. And I think, why is this so good? Here's the logic. After rook takes, right, you have his development's really bad. So rook takes is going to be problematic. I also have knight G5. And if you take, I mean, this is worse. Like, I got this. We got this. This is really bad. So what a move. Something as simple as Bishop D2 ends the game. All right. So Knight F3. Knight F3 happens. Let's refresh there. And D5, he gets that boy open. Like, nah, none of that. So he gives up a pawn because that's exactly what he's doing here. White is up a pawn. And we're keeping it. We are up a pawn, says white. But I have the bishop pair, which actually is equivalent to a pawn. But I think black, practically, I have a double pawn, which is kind of like one pawn. And I'm down another pawn. So this isn't the greatest, but I do have the bishop pair. I just need to develop. White too needs to develop. Bishop D7, rook E8 probably next. Queen F3, rook E8. Rook E2, super annoying. Bishop E3, blocking the whole file. Take, rook E5, active piece. Engine went up instantly. Wonder why. Let me see. So it's not B3 takes. That's no good. Knight C2. Interesting, can be played, but this is hanging. So, well, I guess we're giving a pawn back, aren't we? What did he play? He played D6. Wow. What did the engine say? Rook D1. Interesting. Rook D1 and takes. So you just let him takes. Knight D3 and you let him take this too? And E4. No, bro. Nobody's doing that. Like that's engine work. That's the engine for you. Okay, D6. Queen D5. Let's move this. And rook to D1, attacking the queen. Interesting. If we take, then you have this problem, which is kind of annoying. Maybe you have knight F3 and then rook takes. Like this is like heading towards a draw. Heading towards a draw here, right? Knight before was a fork. Unfortunately, it was not because there was a take with a check. It was a check, something like that. Not to rook D1. Rook D1, queen takes, knight here, rook takes. Knight before, rook takes, rook D1 is check. Problem there with the knight before thing. Refresh. Okay, so rook D1, the what he wanted here. Oh, interesting. So he gave him this pawn. That's how they got to that position. Takes, and he took this pawn. So we look at this 3-6 versus 3-6. This is a very, very nice, instructive endgame, I think. A long 6.5-hour game. I mean, this is a very long game. But I thought that everything about it was fire, to be honest. Especially here. This is probably where you want to spend the most time analyzing. And you could spend, I mean, honestly, guys, you could spend so much time right here. Knight versus bishop. Playing this position out for literally from both sides. Just as zeros, but as you see, you know, top level chess here, candidates. Hikaru was able to pull out a win from this game, believe it or not. So, right, as rook D5, activity, just keeping the bishop kind of at bay. And we also have the passed pawn. We have some trumps in the position as the rook is active. We have a passed pawn, but it also can be weak. We also have some targets, and we have a knight. It's tricky. So F6, rook C5. I like the idea of rook C7. It's trying to be annoying. Rook E6, rook C7. Take. I mean, still equal. But here's one thing I do know, and I would push for this too, is it's good to know, right? The queenside majority, which white has, is actually in the end game. That's actually what you want, believe it or not. Actually, what you want is having the queenside majority, not the king side. I mean, kings are over here, so this we could lock this stuff down. But the queenside majority, weirdly enough, is what you want. So I mean, I'm definitely pushing on, and plus it's the candidates too. Like you want to push that boy out. So you play A6, knight D4, right? We're trying to play and bully these, and I mean, he grinded this in game, guys. This is just a grind. H4, just kind of making moves and progressing each time. Sometimes it's waiting moves, but a lot of times it's moving forward. If you see the knight went to d4, pawn went to h4, going to g3. So yeah, what makes these end games hard is, of course, you do need to push forward, but a lot of it is doing nothing. Knight d4 didn't do anything, but it made the piece better. g3 is making the position better, defending the pawn, obviously. King f2, you walk that boy up. King placement is very important. I think this is a nice little tickle move here. Obviously, hit the pawn. Rook d6, kind of zugging him out here. Zugzwan, and just says it's equal, b3. It's like, make a move. So he finds one. All rook games are drawn, is what they say. But so we don't want to take that. He plays rook c7, shuffling. A lot of moves here. This was a long game, too. There were some times where, as you see, we just going to shuffle some more. Right, what happened here, too? He won the pawn. He won this pawn. Pawn takes. And a lot of the discussion was about him winning this pawn. If black can win this pawn and have a lot of checks, and also with the idea of combining the pawns, the rook and the bishop, to be able to make drawing chances very active and high for black, while also being able to try to queen these pawns. While white, in the meantime, is trying to win this pawn, or actually literally just trying to queen these as fast as humanly possible. So after g takes e4, rook to e4, which hits h4. And here, rook d6, which is winning. You see the engine go crazy, right? Rook d6, bishop c8. He was supposed to go rook d8, which he did play, but what was supposed to happen? Bishop g4, and this was like here, right? Not just impractical, but like, okay, b4 and you have rook d5. And look at b4, so much better than rook d5, which is just, it's just hard to understand that, right? As a human, you know, Hikaru chose rook d5, which looks perfectly fine. It's the pawn. It attacks it. You're threatening to take it. b4 is just like, okay, I mean, the pawn is still going to be here. Interesting, right? And then they play rook d5 after b4. Very strange. Rook to d5, and then rook to c5. He didn't take? Why didn't he take this? I forgot, why did they say he didn't take this? Why didn't he take this? Can you not? Takes. Rook b8. I mean, you like have to try that. I mean, obviously he calculated this, but I guess the checks are too much right now. Plus, you don't have to take it right now. But I mean, he is threatening to take yours, though. Rook c5, so that's why he hit the bishop. Make him stay busy, so he can't take the pawn yet. Knight f3, and then he defended it. I remember watching him, actually, on the cam, make this move, knight f3. Rook e6, rook a7, and then I went away for a little bit. Like, yeah, this is going to be a long game. Rook e4, and then rook a8, so they shuffled around a lot. As you see, right, some of these moves don't do anything. A lot of them do. Rook d2, rook e4, not attacking anything yet. Oh, this pawn's hanging, by the way, that's it. King g6, he defends it. a3, making some progress, or at least trying to. I think it's a waiting move. What did the engine want? Rook c5. Like, come on now, what are you doing, right? What does this even do? Rook c5, 2.7. Practical, though, a3 is like, okay, what do you do with the black pieces? You make a move. I'm trying to push these pawns. There's a lot of moves left, too, like 20 more moves from here. Rook e7, knight d4, and they got the extra time at 60 minutes, I think. I forgot how much time they get. 60 minutes. Chat, how much time do they get? After 60 minutes? I know they get the increment, and I think 15 minutes? No, I think it's less than that, or more than 15, but I forgot. After 60 moves, they get more time, which, like, that never happens. Like, it never happens, but you get more time after 60 moves. So they're only on move 52 right now, right? Rook e4, knight takes, rook takes h4, and they going for it. It's supposed to be a draw, but this is a hard draw to make. What's up, Shambhala? Knight to d4, rook h2, king goes to g3, and he goes rook d2. Maybe some pressure here. Right after 60, they get an extra hour. Thank you for that, sirs. That's crazy. That's such a long game, if you think about that. Imagine, like, bro, that hurts. You know, right? You get an hour, 60 minute, 15 minutes after 60. It's an hour or 15 minutes. Whatever it is, they get a lot of time. Krieger says time control is 120 minutes for 40 moves. I do remember that. 60 minutes for the next 20. 15 for the rest, plus a 30-second increment per move, starting for move 61. Bro, can I get a happy meal with that too? Like, bro, the time is, that's a crazy format. I mean, lots of time there. Lots of time. I just copy and paste it from the site. Thank you, Krieger. Appreciate it. Oh, no problem, sir. So, a lot of time after 55, rook d2, c4. Rook d3 check, king h4. Obviously, you know, the engine's like, oh, it's equal. But I mean, look at this, right? I mean, we got 3 pawns, and these are already kind of like dealt with. We have these pawns kind of locked. We got the f5 square pretty good. The king over here as well. They're blockaded, and the action's really over here. But this is not an easy task by far. Bishop f7. Engine said already losing, but come on now, like really, you don't even need the engine for this anymore, to be honest. The reason being is because this is very hard in game for both sides. In fact, rook to d8, rook d1, it goes up to +5, right? But a4, and I'm sure it goes back down a little bit. King g3 check, and these pawns are just rolling. Pawns are rolling. Oh yeah, here, right? So I remember right here, he went king g2, and the engine was like, bro, what are you doing? It's equal. It's equal. What? Like, what? And what he was supposed to do was this. Like, how unreal is this? Look at this. King f4, h3, and then king back to g3. How unreal is that, right? That's crazy. That's like, wow. Like, why do they do that? And it's kind of strange. But that's what, you know, the best is. But practical, and I think all of us would play king to g2 here, which is a very nice move. It hits the rook. Rook moves, and we got these pawns to deal with. He plays a4 or a5. What was black supposed to play, in fact? Let's see. What makes this equal? Rook b1. What? I don't understand, bro. So if I push this pawn, oh, king walks up. Okay, so what's the difference in what did he play in the game? a5? Oh, he can't check. Oh my goodness. I think that was a huge thing. Did he go rook c1? Wow, that's honestly, that is a huge blunder. I think, because, I mean, as a human, right, you need to go somewhere where you could probably check him, right? Probably. I mean, rook c1, it doesn't do anything. You're not going to check him ever. Like, you're not going to check him. I'm not going to move this knight. That was actually kind of interesting there. I'm very, very curious to see what his thoughts was on rook to c1. I mean, not that, you know, not that this is an easy task at any rook move. But rook to c1 definitely doesn't even give you a check. So, in fact, I mean, and he tried to bring the king up. Just the wrong rook move. He want to sack the bishop. Oh, okay, I can see that. Sacking the bishop twice and getting over. Sacking the bishop and getting over. Yeah, that's not enough, though. That's not enough. I think he demonstrated that kind of well, too. King g4, he tried to get the king in place. Rook f8, h3 first. Took the bishop. He sacked it this way. And then h2 and rook g7 check. King f4, I thought this was spicy. Knight e2 with the fork. He moves king e5, and then he don't even take the rook. Because, of course, he's going to queen, obviously. Like, this started to get crazy. All right. If you take it, believe it or not, it's actually equal, but nobody wants to do that. Come on now. Knight to g3, though, covers all day. If you queen, that's an automatic win. Obviously, we got too many pawns. It's going to be a precision win, easy one for Hikaru. Rook c2, king f3, check up, and we just head for the heels, right? Rook takes, I'm pushing them. Pass pawns, must be pushed. Get that boy to a7. And then king to d4, knight f5, check. Very nice sequence, as we need to get the knight and the rook to coordinate with the idea of trying to hold the pawn. You could also try to get knight b5 in and rook here and push. But many ways. So he went this route, rook b7, king c5, and the resignation after knight e7. Hikaru with the dub. Hikaru strikes back after taking an L from Fabi in round 1. Hikaru strikes back in round 2 here. Very nice stuff here. Very nice. This is a very long, instructive, I think, game. I think this is a game that reminds you, especially if you think about Game 6 from the World Championship with Jan and Magnus, right? That was a game where he pushed. Magnus just pushed that boy. I mean, it was 100-something moves, right? The longest game ever in World Championship history, right? Like, bro, over 100 moves. And Magnus won the game, and I think that's what really broke Jan there, right? So I think, you know, you can look and learn from these type of positions, too, how the end game was very, like, look at this, right? Go back from where we were. This was a straight up zeros in game. Like, play this stuff out, you know? It helps you to realize you can also learn from stuff. It hurts, though, if you do lose, obviously, but what do you learn from it, right? If we get here, we get here. If you take a L, so let's trade the queens off. Boom, we reached this position. Let's go back. I mean, look at this. You're telling me, like, white gonna win this every game? And now, obviously, I do like king f2. I love my prospects. But I also don't like the fact that this is very weak, which means you need to, I mean, if you don't find this was the best plan. And this was the very good plan. Because if you don't find this plan, well, then the rook is stuck defending the pawn all game. Like, you just, what does rook doing? Defending. Just defending. Because you need to stay around it. And you can't cut across. You would love your king to defend it. But even then, you can get kicked away with b6. So it's not actually the easiest way to defend it. So very active plan from Hikaru. Very big kudos to the big fella. Sheesh. And then round 3 is tomorrow. But of course, real quick, the rest of the games were draws if you wanted to know. So especially people from YouTube that didn't watch anything on it. We'll check them really quickly. In fact, that's the last one we'll check. These were more quick draws, in fact, as I saw even post-game conferences and stuff. So this is Duda playing Dean Loren. In fact, I remember Duda in the post-game was saying he actually went for something different. I can't remember where he said something, where he went different at. He deviated from theory, I think, here. Bishop b5, something. No, that's just still theory, though. Something deviated. And he was saying that he didn't like his position. Also, the team was putting some moves on him, to say the least. Queen b8 is a nasty type of idea here. Very nasty. Knight f1, rook e2, he defends, right? And then knight g3. This is standard, though. This is all standard stuff. You even see this in the Roy a lot. It looks like it was a Roy, but in fact, it wasn't. Very similar. And takes, and he was saying, yeah, black has the bishop pair. I don't really like it that much. And he was also saying, what do I even do? And it's very cool to hear that from Duda, as strong as he is too, right? He was like, I just didn't know where to put the pieces. I didn't know what to do, basically. So we would shuffle. He make it move. c4, he hits the queen. Then plays bishop c3. Rook d2. I mean, really didn't do nothing this game. He was talking about that. Like, I'm just shuffling. And so what happened was they got a chance where white actually just found a maneuver. Not even a maneuver, but one move here that made everything very annoying for black. And you see, nothing's going on. d5 break might happen. So he plays bishop e3 to keep that on lock. Rook b7, be annoying. Queen d8, defending. What are you doing, right? You can't do anything. You got this all locked up, too. This is a good position for black, too. Queen e2. Got to back that boy up. And just think this is zeros, too. Like, literally, there's nothing. He went knight f1. This is where it happened, I think, right around here. Oh, he played f5. He did get f5 in, too. Got f5 in. I remember this. Knight got to g3. Knight h5, rook defends. I mean, there's, in fact, even who said Duda himself was like, yeah, the game was just boring. Like, that's exactly what you could say about this game. It was just boring, bro. It didn't, no fireworks. They shuffled pieces for 41 moves and did nothing and shuffled. And then knight h5, king g7. I mean, very dead, boring draw. Honestly, good chess, great chess. Nothing to be said there, right? And round 3 is tomorrow. So, interesting, very interesting there. That was a draw between those two. This was a draw, Fabi and Jan. Fabi said everything was prep until like, he said knight g4 was like dubious. I'm like, dang, bro, like, you know how prep Fabi is. So, but I like to see what he did from the black side here. With the Italian game, some a6 action, right? Bishop a7, this is all theory. Half out of 2, he needs to kick in high gear. But it's 14 games, Krager, you know. For a lot of, it's a marathon, Krager, shoot. Half out of 2, and plus he did lose. He did lose, but it is a marathon. True, yeah, it's a marathon. They got more games to do. So h6, knight b to d2, and then g5. This is actually very common. A g5 move is very cool to play aggressive, especially against the castle setups when white castles early. If you castle, though, you won't have a chance to do it. I mean, you will, but it's not the greatest. I'm not good at marathons. Nice, Krager. Marathons are like chess. I'm not good at chess. I'm not good at marathons, says Krager. Okay, so knight to g4. Yeah, he said this was like, I think he said this was dubious or like wasn't that good in post-game analysis. Bobby was saying that. Rook e2, which is defends. I like it, though. And then queen f6. I mean, this was a, I actually thought Fabi had an initiative here. Queen f6, knight g4. This is fire stuff. Like, whoa, I like black. But queen e1 defends everything. So some h3 action is going to happen. So queen g7 to make hold for the knight. Knight f1. But, I mean, look at all these pieces around the king. Like, you really can't get, what can you really hope for? Castles, knight to g3. Another knight g3 game that we've seen with Ding and Duda as well. Knight to e7. You'll see this a lot in Italians where the knight reroutes to the better square. d4, e takes, c takes d4, knight c6. Hits both of these. Bobby said all this was prep. And then he said, yo, he shocked me with rook a3. He was like, bro, this is where I started to think. I'm like, oh, dang. He caught Fabi with a move. Hit that man with a move. And I was actually myself, when he flip it, I was like, yo, what is this? Honestly, I really was like, I don't know what he doing, bro. I don't know what he doing. And Fabi said that too. Like, yo, I don't know what my man's is doing. I don't know what he doing right now, bro. But I had to think. And honestly, this move works, which is this man's a calculation machine. Here, both of them are, but definitely Jan played Rook A3. Definitely curious to see what happens if we take this pawn. I mean, you have to. You have to see what happens, right? So knight takes d4, but I think his idea here is after I looked at like all the lines, I remember checking and just checking to see what they gave. Sometimes I like to click the arrow and using just my mind only, trying to envision what's happening. In these games here, what they're saying is I just have compensation because of the bishops, right? Because of it, but you know it's like 10:30 at night, bro, right? Y'all know that chat, bro. It's like 10:30 at night. It's my alarm going off out here. I don't know what's going on out there, but we over here though. This guy going for knight f5, bishop takes f5, or something takes. Wait, takes. Something takes d4. Oh, and rook g3. That's gonna be difficult, I think. That's gonna be quite difficult, I think. Yeah, getting out of knight f5 because g5 is blocked too low. Yeah, it's like blocked. Let's go back. Let's go back. Okay, so rook a3 though. Rook a3, knight takes d4. Oh yeah, he didn't take. Wait, did he take this? Oh, he did take it in the game. Takes h3. Yeah, Fabi was just like, bro, I'm about that life, and he did take it. He just, all right, you got to show me, bro. Which I understand because you really want to see what happens there. Like, I don't know. I don't think you can, and he does. He takes it. 95 hits the bishop. Actually, for some reason, I don't remember this part. I was paying more attention to Hikaru's and actually Richard Report's game. Because those are very sharp games too, but I didn't know he took this actually. Next taste, somebody taking that car. Somebody taking that car. Wait, bishop a2. No, that's fine. c5. I like this. Solidifies the bishop. I mean, I will take black here to be honest. Bishop takes, hits the rook. It's crazy looking rook. Rook b3. Bishop e6. Oh, it's defended. Sheesh. Weird defense. Weird. b5. Take. We got bishop a6. Knight f5, queen f6, king h2. Okay. Takes on a4, hits the rook. Rook g3. King h7. And then queen d1. I remember looking at it from Jan's point of view of highlighting this area. But it's not that easy. Bishop d7 gets the last piece off the back rank. He also maybe wants to go bishop b5. Right. Wants to go bishop b5. Interesting, Kimchi. I don't know there. It's not something I can't answer. But rook b8, queen h5. I mean, and rook g8. Bishop b2. Oh, right here. This was critical. This was critical, right? So I think Fabi was actually content with the draw, which is fine. He has the black pieces, right? They say win with white, draw with black is a good result. You would love to win with black, but definitely draw is a good result. So he goes rook e8. But this is what happens, right? So they repeat. He go bishop c1, rook g8, and then right here, bishop b2, and the engine go crazy. And I'm like, what is this about? But look at the line they gave here, right? They said take on b2. What? Bruh. And then after takes, you're supposed to go a3. Have you lost your mind? Like, what is this? This doesn't even make sense. What if you go like rook e2, right? Rook e2 and you're supposed to go rook b8 and rook b2. Like, this is an engine line. Like, straight up. No other way to put that. This is an engine line. So we're gonna discard that line, but it's cool to see that it's possible, which I'm sure Fabi probably, thought about this. I've even seen a game. King's Indian defense against, it's Fabiano actually. Alexander Linderman. I think it's in the US Championship. Alexander Linderman versus Fabiano, King's Indian. Fabi played black. It was a Finchetto variation with bishop f5. And rook takes, he sacrificed in exchange. It was a nasty exchange sacrifice, and it was a must-win situation for Fabi. So I think he did consider this, but the follow-up probably was not as clear as he wanted it to be. So he chose to go for the draw with actually, which is where they repeated right here. And of course, you got the two bishops, open position. Like, if you misjudge this, it could be difficult. Could be very bad, right? So I mean, no, right? Nothing happened here, right? So we got the games that happen. So as you see, round 2, Hikaru wins, Jan and Fabi draw, Duda draws, and then this game right here, which is Richard Rapport and Ferrugia, was fire as well. I was even watching where they were saying, I'll start from the beginning. It was saying Richard Rapport got hit with C5 at not right now, but like the C5 from White in his last game. So he did it in his game today against Ali Reza. So watch this, right? C takes, queen takes, knight C6, bishop B5. So he pins the knight. A6, he takes. This is classic, and you play like I'm in a Moroxi bind fashion. C4, and then you move the queen. You do go to D3. D1 you could, but I mean, you probably want to put a rook there. Queen D3 is nice. It doesn't block the file either. 97, and then he goes C5. Like, yo, this is what happened to him in his round one with him playing black with Duda, right? So C5, he was able to get that off. Knight G6, he takes. But this was different. Like, there's no pieces developed. Black's doing quite fine. Bishop E3, and somehow he got in trouble here. Somehow he got in some trouble. So let's see where. This is all logical stuff, and this is actually like, it's crazy. It's like, this looks like the game. In fact, this is, hold on. This feel like, yeah, this is round 2. It just feels like we've seen this already. It literally feels like we've seen this already. Wow. But so here I remember watching this, right? I remember watching this. And King F1, King E2, so he got the king around, which is pretty nice. And then he takes on B4 and pawn takes. I remember looking at this. The problem is A2's hanging. Not problem, but he's saying, okay, cool. You know what? I don't want you to take this. B3 is going to run into doubling. And you're just kind of passive. But you could play Rook C2, but you don't want to really be passive. The best defense is offense. So I love this G3 move first, obviously, because that's hanging. After knight moves, bishop to C5. Hitting this. But you take mine, I take yours. And this is hanging. And maybe I can push the B pawn. So Rook B8, A3, which is automatic here. Defends backward. So it takes, Rook takes, we try to trade him, he doesn't. Knight C4, and again, like, this is just a simple equal position, but it's crazy to see where people go wrong, as strong as these people are too as well. So this is good, and even in your own games to understand, you know, pushing on has its benefits. So takes, Rook takes, watch this, chat, right? Knight F8, Rook B3, I think the blunder is something crazy too. Watch this, Rook B7, King G8, Bishop E3. I mean, we're just shuffling, like, we're not doing anything yet, and White's trying to push forward, and then we trade this off. So we get the trade off. Let's do a piece count. 1, 2, 3, right? 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Same amount of material. Only difference is my pieces are more active. So if I'm white, I'm definitely pushing on because I can win this one. I might win this one. I'm on the 7th rank. I'm more active than you, even though the engine's like, yo, this is a draw. Equal, right? Rook A1, and then Rook A1 is an absolute blunder. Bro, that's like crazy. How is this a blunder? Bro, this is crazy. This is literally like, I mean, Ali Reza, as strong as he is, Rook A1 being a blunder is beyond me, bro. That's like really tough. These, I mean, end games are very, very tough. I highly recommend, you know, here, let me use the command end game in the chat, and it links you to Dvoretsky end game manual. Definitely a big fan of Dvoretsky, but even when you get the manual, don't, I mean, like, I'm sure Ferrugia went through the manual definitely a good amount of times. And for Rook A1, for him to play it right, you know, I think he was going for these type of intentions. But I mean, it tells you how hard these end games are. It tells you how hard it is. In fact, the moves are H6. Come on now, D3, stop it, and H5. Like, bro, like, what do you think I'm about to play any of these moves? You have lost your absolute, right? So, Rook A1, you have to like understand him because we're not playing H6, H5, or anything else. Anything else, like for that matter. So Rook A1. He takes on C6, Rook H1. That was the whole idea. Doubled rooks now, and like this is problematic. Takes King D3, E5. I mean, guys, it's +8 right now. They say right now, Richard Report is up a queen, 8.73, up a queen, and was not able to convert. Right. So Rook H3 is chess is hard. King E4 cuts it in half, literally. So let's see why, though. This was supposed to be winning. Interesting. No, it's not. Wow, that's kind of crazy. Is this winning or not? Interesting. I like king up 2 as well, though. But this check you have to look at. I also want to consider E6 and then moving. E6, move the king up. Can we get the F6 in time? And E7. He also has a push of his own. There's a lot of weird things going on. King here, he takes. Check, right? So he went this route. Move out the way. Check. King F4. No good? No. Check. Check, check. What happened? Wow, it's a draw now. Interesting. You see that? That was crazy. What was he supposed to do? He's supposed to play rook b7, king g8, check, then b4. Whoa. Man, that's so hard. Rook a7. So what is this one? Rook c7, king g8, rook check, and then rook g to e7. Yeah, this was hard, man. This was just one of those end games that it's, I mean, it's extremely hard, guys. Man, end games 101, I mean, are some of the hardest part of the game. This is like, look at the engines, +7, +8. And like the way that they're saying you have to win this is engine like. That's exactly what it is. I'm looking at the text here. The notation is telling you you got to move the rooks and then push the pawn and like walk like, you know, it's not clean. It's very very like messy. It's very hard to win this, even being +7.8 right now. And people don't understand that, right? You give them, you know, oh, he had a +8 and missed the position. Oh, he's garbage. No, you're garbage, right? But it was very hard to figure this out. So, you know, after king f8, check, and then check, and he takes on g6, and then rook e2, and pushes e6. Interesting. Only +8, exactly right, Mr. Blunt. Right, e6, rook e8, and this is drawn. Wow. Tough, man. Tough stuff. Wait, something happened there. Wow, this was another chance. Yeah, one more chance. How is king f5? I mean, again, I don't know. Like, I have no idea. Of course, he couldn't figure that out either. It was Richard Rohr, like, played b4. Can't be mad at him. d3, d2, rook g3, d2. And that's it. Wow, even here, drawn. Yeah, that's it. And an easy draw, and it keeps him cut off, and that was it. And a draw after king to e6. Oops, why is that playing? Okay, but yeah, that's a draw. That was it. Wow. Tough. The random +8 on the engine gets e8, huh? They do, huh? Yeah, it's crazy. So that's it, guys. This was round 2. This was round 2 of the candidates. So let's go back and let's take a look real quick, schedule-wise. And round, what's the next round? So the next round actually is tomorrow at 9 a.m. in the morning. Make sure you're ready for that, right? If you want, well, I'm in, you know, New York time. 9 in the morning. Anywhere else, obviously, you see the time up there. So shout out to you. Of course, we'll be doing a recap tomorrow too as well. So keep you guys updated, especially if you're watching from YouTube and not from Twitch. So if you're watching from both, shout out to you. But of course, make sure you guys subscribe to the YouTube channel. We'll see you on the next video.